Good evening, Army fans. This is Joe Iacono with GoBlackKnights.com, along with three of the newest commits for the class of 2023 at Army West Point. All three of these young recruits are three-star or Rivals 3-stars athletes. Matt, Gemma, Hayden Oviatt, and Jaxon Hammond, all highly sought after, highly coveted recruits here by the Army Black Knights. So to start it off, guys, and we'll go, I know y'all have a different view than me, but we'll go around clockwise from where I am. So we'll start with Matt and then go to Hayden and then Jaxon. Just give the fans out there a little background on you, where you play your high school ball, what position you play, and yeah, that ought to be good to get started.
All right, I'm Matt Gemma. I'm a defensive tackle at Barn, Morristown, New Jersey.
Cool. Hayden?
Hi, my name is Hayden Oviatt. I'm a quarterback from Wamego, Kansas.
Good stuff. Jaxon?
I'm Jaxon Hammond. I'm a cornerback from Christian Brothers High School in Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay. Good stuff. So we've got at least half the country covered there. So that's pretty good. So we'll start off with this. So, we know that just because you guys have verbally committed to Army, that doesn't mean other schools stop recruiting you, right? That process is pretty constant, even quite frankly at Army. If you end up going to the prep school, goes through there a lot of times. Other schools continue to recruit, especially with the transfer portals now, even as kind of kids roll into school. And so that, we know that that's going on. And I'll start with Matt first. And because Matt, you were basically the first player to commit to Army for 2023. And during the spring and summer, we've seen your Rivals rating increase. We've seen your overall stock increase. Not a surprise to a lot of us who've seen your film and have evaluated you, but nonetheless, sometimes it takes the National Recruiting Services a little while to catch up with that stuff sometimes. So are you or were you still hearing from schools after you committed? And what do you typically say to those programs that attempt to get you away from Army? And for you specifically, I know you might be tired of answering this question because I know it gets asked of you a lot, but go ahead and humor us anyway.
After I committed, I definitely received a lot of texts and calls from other colleges trying to offer me and try to get me to come on visits, but I ultimately told them no. I'm committed to Army. That's just what I've been telling all these coaches. I've been posting a lot now on Twitter about like Army stuff, so all the coaches kind of get the gist of where I'm at and that I'm not really going to budge at all. And right now it's definitely 100% like shut down. I pretty much told a lot of schools just to stop talking to me.
That's awesome. I know the Army fan base will appreciate that a ton, and we're super excited to have you. Jaxon, for you, at the time of your commitment, as far as we know, you had approximately 25 offers, which included, of course, the University of Tennessee out of the SEC there in your home state. Are you still hearing from some of those schools? And if so, can you give us an example of how those conversations typically go with the other schools?
I sometimes hear from other schools. They still try to reach out, but I let them know that I'm 100% committed to Army. I don't see anything else I could tell school, and basically tell them that I'm not going to be recruited anymore. And they've stopped texting for the most part, but there were some times where I tried to try and give me a flip. I'm not.
Okay. And Hayden, how about you? Are there still programs aggressively recruiting you? And if so, how consistently do you hear from other programs still at this point? Because you're a pretty recent recruit to Army at this point in the process. So.
Yeah, so I committed July 4th, and I'd say just about what Matt and Jaxon said is once I verbally committed and made it a big deal and spread it out there, for the most part, it all shut down. I would say the most contact I have with all the other coaches now is just like them getting on to congratulate me on my decision. So I'd say that all my recruitment has been shut down, which is nice and relieving.
Yeah, I mean, it allows you to focus on your senior season and get ready for that, and really focus on making your way up the road to Army. It looks like we lost Jackson. I could tell on his last answer there that, oh, is he back? I could tell the communications were a little off. Kind of used to this at this point in time with all these Zoom interviews we do. So while Jackson's getting hooked back up, start with Matt and then move on to Hayden, I guess. Can you guys talk a little bit about the relationships that you've established with the Army coaching staff? Who was your primary recruiter on the staff, and how significant were those relationships relative to you making your decision to commit to West Point?
So my first recruiter of my area was Coach Drinkle. I pretty much DM'd him probably August of 2021. And I talked back and forth a little bit, and then they offered me in December. And recently just switched up to me having Coach Aaron Smith, wide receivers coach, as my recruiting coordinator. And I've been talking to him pretty much really regularly, pretty much every week. Same with Coach Cronin, the D-line coach. Been calling him up every once in a while, just talking. I talked to his son the other day, Rooster, which was really nice. So it's really good relationship. I really look up to them as people and coaches, and I'm looking forward to building a closer relationship with them.
Awesome. How about you, Hayden?
Yeah, so it would have been back in March. I started talking to Coach Drinkle. And that kind of got set up because Coach Drinkle was a Kansas guy.
Yep. Great coach at Kansas Wesleyan, right?
Yeah,
So,
yep. And so I think that's kind of how he heard about me anyways. And so he reached out knowing that I'm a Kansas dude as well. And I believe I'll be the only Kansas player on the football roster. And so that relationship was pretty easy to make, just with all the different connections we had and names that we knew, and like all the connections we had from Kansas. And so, yeah, for him to connect with my family, he came down here on a home visit once and really got to sit down with my family. And we all love the guy. And so it was pretty easy to come up to West Point then and then meet the rest of the coaching staff, and then having Drinkle there to, introduce me. It made everything a lot easier. He was a real nice dude for me and my family.
Yeah, Coach Drinkle's pretty awesome. He's if you ever want a good laugh on Twitter, definitely follow him and his wife. They're hilarious, and he's a brilliant football mind. He's honestly, I'm really surprised he hasn't gotten a coordinator offer somewhere at this point. The guy is an offensive genius, and we're really blessed to have him. So, Jaxon, how about you? Who kind of reached out to you first on the coaching staff, and talk a little bit about that relationship and how your relationship with the coaches influenced your decision?
So my recruiting coordinator was Coach Braswell. So he's kind of a Tennessee guy too. He played in Nashville for Baylor, and he has a really strong relationship with my defensive coordinator. And my defensive coordinator had reached out to him and told him to take a look at my film. And then I got a DM from him. We started talking. Probably one of the funniest guys I know. Coach, he's always smiling, laughing. He came to a home visit in March, I think, and he was always recruiting me hard, keeping up with me, and genuinely showing me like he cared for me as a person more than just recruit. So when I got up to West Point, I still felt like I was at home. It was fun to be around him. It's fun to be around the DB coach, Coach Dixon. They both just welcomed me open arms, and it just felt like home for me. So that made the decision really easy for me.
Great. Yeah, that's Coach Dixon's another one, I know Coach Braswell, Coach Cronin are awesome, and Coach Smith, they're all awesome coaches too. They're a little newer to the staff, but we've been really blessed to hang on to Coach Dixon as long as we have. Really, really good D-back coach, and he's been with the program quite a while. So with social media, it's really easy to keep tabs on which players have committed to Army. And have you guys, as the class of 2023, started to talk amongst each other at all and kind of start to form some bonds and some friendships with each other? Kind of any of you can chime in on that and feel free to talk about that.
Yeah, no, we have a little Snapchat group chat going. I created that in like February. Then I think almost like 3 weeks after I committed, Patrick Kendall committed. So I added him to the group chat, and then Sean Donovan right after. And it's just been running ever since. We're talking probably 24/7. Your phone blowing up. It's a little annoying sometimes, but it's good. I've been
That's
playing
pretty
Xbox
awesome.
with some of the boys, so it's really nice.
Good stuff. Jaxon and Hayden, are you guys part of that Snapchat group?
I actually am. Yeah.
I am not a part of the group chat yet.
I've been trying to get you. I've been.
We gotta
we
add
tried-
the QB. Come on.
Yeah. We tried to get his snap. We couldn't find it. But some
Well,
funny stuff goes
I'll,
down.
Well, I'll tell it to you right now if you write it down.
You want to type that
Get
in?
your pen ready, Matt, so you don't have to go back and re-record this. Go
I'll
ahead.
type it for you. I'll put it in the chat.
There you go. Let them put it in the chat, and then that way the whole world, all 200 people who watch this video won't know.
Oh. I'm not gonna put it in the chat. You're right, sir. That'd be
why don't you just DM Matt somewhere and he can find that out? You'll be good to go. Otherwise, you'll have, not that my videos get as many views as like Joe Rogan, but you'll have a couple hundred people blowing you up. So anyway, good stuff. So what are you guys most excited about as you go into your senior years of football? I know you have 1 year of high school left, but what are you most excited about the opportunity to come to West Point, both as a cadet as well as an Army football player, and play for Army, maybe in the Army Navy game in a big, huge setting like that, or at home games at Mikey Stadium every week, which, as you guys probably know, Sports Illustrated rated one of the top sports venues in all of America over the last 100 years. Matt, what fires you up the most about getting ready to come play for West Point?
Probably that Army Navy game. It's a big thing in my family every year. My sister's actually at the Naval Academy right now, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah, she plays soccer there, so it's one family rivalry.
It happens.
Yeah, it does.
Try not to cuss on my podcast. So how about you, Jaxon? What's got you the most excited about coming up to Army?
There's some really big time games. My freshman year, we'll play LSU at LSU.
That's
Then the
pretty
year
cool
after that,
for an SEC guy, huh? So
yeah, really, really cool. My dad went to LSU, so
Okay.
we make a lot of bets on that game. So that's a game I'm looking forward to. And my whole family being from Louisiana, I'd love to go down there and beat them in their own stadium. So
that could definitely happen. I could definitely see that happening. I mean, you guys know, you've been following the program a little bit the last couple of years. We've come super close in some big time games against top 10 teams, and really had the big win over Missouri in the bowl game last year. It was kind of nice. How about you, Hayden? What's got you the most excited about coming up to play for Army?
I'd say the easy answer that everyone would understand is the Army Navy game.
Yeah.
But as a Kansas guy, there's actually another quarterback that was recruited really heavily out of Kansas. His name was Avery Johnson, and he committed to Kansas State. Well, we play Kansas State our junior year.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. I did not know they were on the schedule. That's good stuff.
So I guess it would be 2023's junior year. We go to Kansas State, so that'll be a home game, and all my friends and family will be able to make it to there. And it's almost been like been a rivalry that's not been seen yet. Because he's a 5A athlete, and we're 4A, our high schools, so we never get to play him. And he's got even longer hair than me, and I get a lot of shade from people about looking like him, and so it's just been a rivalry in the making in the high school setting. And so I just can't wait to get back to my home state and be able to play him and kind of shut up all the people that like to say that he tops me in everything we do. So
well, that's pretty awesome. That's a lot of motivation. And I guarantee you by the time you play them in a couple of years, your hair will be way shorter than his. So you'll have that going for you. So that'll be cool. Hayden, let me ask you another question. How much option does your high school team run? And have you talked with Coach Drinkle and some of the other coaches about the transition to running the triple option offense? Because I know that's a really steep learning curve. I don't know if you had the opportunity to talk with maybe Cade Ballard or Tyler or any of the players about running the offense and what the transition's like.
Okay, so that's kind of interesting because at One Migo we run 0 triple option.
Okay, nice.
And so they don't have any film of me running triple option.
Right.
But what we do run is power option.
Okay.
We do a lot of that just because we found that I'm really good on the run. And so no triple option experience. And we actually at One Migo play a lot of teams that run triple option.
Okay, so you've seen it up close.
So the most experience I have with it is running scout look for the defense.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, it's funny because, everybody talks about Army's triple option offense. I mean, you come on and that's all the announcers and analysts talk about. But really, if you look at our offense, and I'm sure Coach Drinkle broke a lot of this down with you, a lot of it is a whole bunch of different schemes. There's a lot of power. There's a lot of pre-reads. We've got the triple option in the arsenal, but it's certainly not the only thing we do. So.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. So last question for you, I guess. Have you guys heard about the renovations taking place to Mikey Stadium over the next couple of years? And as far as what you've been told or heard from the coaching staff or the athletic department, will you guys get to play in the newly refinished stadium before you graduate?
I have heard about the new renovation happening to Mikey Stadium. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the 3 parts of Mikey Stadium are like a historic kind of like museum type thing. So you're not allowed to touch anything but the stands where all of our student section sits can be renovated. And I think they're doing a triple decker kind of.
Yeah, if you guys go to YouTube and look it up, just search like Mikey Stadium renovation or something like that. Yeah, you're right. It'll be the section behind the visiting bench where the cadets currently sit. They're gonna redo it. They're gonna put in club seats. They're gonna have like a whole like memorial museum walk, kind of like what Yankee Stadium has. If you've ever been out there, facing Lusk Reservoir, where the team does their game day walk, all that'll be renovated. It'll be like a really awesome looking Memorial Plaza. This was pretty cool. The design was actually done by a group of cadets in their engineering capstone project. And so there was like a big project for it. They got the design and redesign. Now it's just a matter of like everything else, raising the money and getting it done. So I know that's really exciting. A lot of the grads and fans are excited about the renovations and the club seats, especially for the November games when it gets a little chilly up there. But nothing. Matt's used to that weather. Hayden too. I've been in Kansas. When I was at Cass Cubed in Fort Leavenworth back in the late 90s in December. That was about the coldest I ever remember being in the United States. So I know Kansas can get cold from time to time too. So
yeah, it gets real cold, and then right now it's like 105 out.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, Kansas and Missouri are extremely extreme for weather. So pretty crazy there. Well, cool. Well, hey guys, thanks a lot for joining us tonight. Really appreciate your insight. Good luck to all of you in your senior years. Hope you have great senior years, win some championships, win some awards, and get ready for Beast Barracks. And whether you're reporting to the prep school or directly to West Point, I'm not sure, if you guys have even found that out yet, but regardless of how that goes, it's a great journey, and congratulations on A, receiving offers from West Point, but then B, verbally committing as well. And we all look forward to following your careers over the next 5 years or so. Again, this has been Joe Iacono with GoBlackKnights.com, along with 2023 three-star commits, Matt Gemma, Hayden Oviatt, and Jaxon Hammond. Go Army, beat Navy.